Final chapter of the book of Daniel. We have read the prophecy in the 11th chapter, the lead up to it in the 10th chapter, talks about the Persian kingdom, the Greek kingdom, the fighting of the Greek kingdom, the horrific king Antiochus, and then this enigmatic appearance of some evil king. Is it Antiochus? Is it somebody else who's going to cause all sorts of pain and destruction to our people? And things look very, very bad for the Jewish people. And that's where chapter 12 begins, in the middle of this prophecy. Uvaitahi, and at that time, Yamod Michael Asar Gadol made al bnei amecha vaita eight sarah. Asher lono yita miyita goy ad ha'etahi uvaitahi malet amcha kol animsa katuv basefer. It's going to be a terrible time period, a worse time period than it's ever been for your people. But at that time, the angel who stands next to you, Michael, he will stand besides the Jewish people. He will appear, and he will rescue all those who are found in the book. What is this book? Is right? We know that at different places in the greater Tanakh, we have the idea of a book. Moshe says, "Mecheni na misifrecha asher katavta," take me out from the book of life, the book of God's history. Is it a reference to what we have later on? Of course, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the book of life. So it's not clear exactly what this book is, but there are allusions to different ideas of a specific book, a book of salvation. Some of the commentaries say a book of who will be remembered for good, a book of eternal life. Different commentators, the Malbim, Saja, talk about different specific ideas, but the general idea of this idea of some sort of ledger of God. Rabim mi shenei admat afar yakitzu el lechayolam ve'el lecharfot lidiraon olam. And many of those who sleep in the dust will awake, some to eternal life, others to reproaches, to everlasting horrors. Va'maskilim, right? Only some who are in the book. Va'maskilim in verse 3, and we had this before, those who are knowledgeable, those who seem to follow God's way. Yazhiru kizoar harakia. They will shine like the shine of the sky. Umatz dikei harabim kachochavim laolam va'ed. Those who lead the many to righteousness will be like stars forever and ever. Of course, we know that phrase kazoa harakia mazhirim, as we mention in Yizkar and Kelmales, and here we have them shining. Right, they do not dull. They will remain, their influence, and they will remain forever. Viata, Daniel, Stom Hadvarim, V'chatom HaSefer ad eight kates. Yes, so to two, Yeshotatu Rabim V'tirbeh Hadab. But you, Daniel, what I've said to you, close your mouth. Keep it a secret. Seal the book until the end of time. One bank of the river and the other bank of the river, right? This all started, he was on the river on the Chidekel, and here he now sees, in addition to the person who's been talking to him, two other images. Vayomer leish lavush habadim asher mimali mimei hayaor an matai kates haplaot. And I said to the man clothed in linen who was above the water of the river, how long until these awful things? How long until they end? Veshma taish lavush habadim asher mimali mimei hayaor vayorem yamino usmolo el hashamayim. Vayispa b'chayei olam. And I heard the man dressed in linen, who was above the water of the river, swear by God, the ever-living one, as he lifted his right hand and his left hand to heavens, for a time, and a half a time. And when the breaking of the power of the holy people comes to an end, then shall all things be fulfilled. What does that refer to? We don't know. There are those who say maybe it was about a 3-year period of Antiochus. Was it 187 before the common year, 180 to 184 before the common year, or something of that sort? There are others who say we don't know exactly what it means. Most people say that Vani shamati v'lo avin. We're not the only ones. Daniel said, I heard, I don't understand. Vomra Adoni. And I said, wow, when will these things happen? What does this mean? I don't understand. Vayomer, Lech Daniel, kistumim v'chatumim advarim ad eight kates. And he said, just go, Daniel. Keep it secret and seal it, because this is going to happen in the end, right? This is not something that we can understand. But what I'm saying to you, as you're living through a time of trouble and difficulty for the Jewish people, is it's going to come to an end. There's going to be a time where God sends Michael, his ministering angel, who stands by the Jewish people, and they will be returned to their destiny and to their glory. Continuing in Pasuk Yud, verse 10, Yitbaru v'yitlabnu v'yitzarfu rabim v'yirshiu rishayim v'lo yavinu kol rishayim v'amaskilim yavinu. Many will be purified and purged and refined, right? There's going to be pangs, there's going to be difficulty. The wicked will act wickedly, and none of the wicked will understand, but the knowledgeable, those who remain with the knowledge of God, and not just the knowledge, but doing that which God asks, they will understand. Umetu Sara Tamid, Vilatet Shikutz Shomem Yamim Elef Matayim Vatishim. And from the time that the regular offering is abolished, and an appalling abonishment is set up, and that's what those referring back earlier, what it said about presumably Antiochus. That could be from the time of the story of Hanukkah. Others again who read it in a completely different way. It's going to be 1,290 days. Ashrei hamechakeh v'yagia. Happy are those ones who wait and who reaches liamim elef shalosh meot shloshim v'chamisha. Those who wait and it reaches 1,335 days. V'ata lech leketz v'tanuach v'tamod legoralcha leketz hayamim. But you go on to the end and rest and arise to your destiny at the end of days. A verse, of course, that is said at a funeral. After we bury somebody, we're burying their body, but the soul will rise. The person will rise in the future. And so we end here with easy to say, very enigmatic chapter here for Daniel. What exactly does it mean? Is very, very big challenge. It ends with a sense of hope. There is going to be a better future. Things are going to get better, but there's going to be a lot of difficulty. There's going to be a lot of horrors, a lot of troubling time, and it's not clear when this end is. Daniel doesn't understand what it is. And later commentaries have attempted to try to understand it. For example, the Barbanel tried to write a whole book. He lived through the horrors of the expulsion from Spain, the expulsion from Portugal, and he tries to understand what it is, what are these numbers, what does it mean, and he writes about it at length, trying to tell us when the imminent redemption is going to come. Rav Saja, others, they try to read what this is, how, at what point the Messiah would come, based upon trying to calculate the ends. But what we're told here is you cannot calculate it. Daniel didn't understand it, and it was said to him, and we don't understand it either. I don't know if you asked ChatGPT if ChatGPT could understand it and could give you a good answer, but generally we don't know the answer. We don't understand what this means, what God is telling to Daniel. When is this Ketz Yamim? When is this end of days? But every generation, in a sense, looks at it. Every generation looks at it, and sadly, not every generation, but many times where people have gone through horrors and looks at Daniel's words and sees it as a sense of comfort. That just as Daniel was told during these times of horrors, it's going to come to an end. Michael, God's going to send his messenger. He's going to be next to us. He's going to save us. He's going to help us. And so too, was understood as being in every generation. And we should see not just it in our generation, but Daniel's words should come true for the all time, with the world becoming a better place, reaching that messianic era, that future, that end of days, which Daniel spoke about here thousands of years earlier. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, on finishing the book of Daniel.